Yeah, as we're talking about the union of the Nesias for the Chasuna for Rebbe Mh, Yodua, the Maamar that the Rebbe said, the Maamar that Chasanim Chazer, and the Maamar from Rebbe, from Farbrengen Rebbe, that the Farbrengen Rebbe said to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe was Moisif on Yudal Kislev Yudal, whenever it was a Yudal, whenever it was, whenever the Rebbe said the Maamar, Yodua, the word, the Maamar, Lecha Dodi, Likras Kalo, Pnei Shabbos, Nekablo, that the Nekuda is that when a Chasan goes over to the Kala, he makes the first step at the Kiruv Chitzoni, he lifts her up, and the Makabel then, after you lift up a Makabel, only then are they ready to be Makabel Ashpa Pnimis. That's the Nekuda of the Rebbe's Maamar, which the Rebbe says in Chasanim Chazer. Yeshloimar, that the Farbrengen Rebbe was giving the Rebbe a Gevaldik Ahira and a Gevaldik Derech that became the Rebbe's Derech for our Doyer, for Doyer Ashvi, and the Yodua that the Rebbe it's Yodua Mefursim that the Rebbe's Oifen of Kiruv is pure Kiruv. There was a person recently, there was a story, then they have my encounters, so they had a story there of a mechanech from Borough Park. There's a Beis Yaakov school, early in the Nesias, maybe in the Yuds, maybe in the Chofs, I think in the Yuds, that people came to the Rebbe. They came to the Rebbe and they asked the Rebbe, what oifen should chinuch, how do you do education? And the Rebbe said, in other generations maybe Yira worked, maybe fear of the teacher, implanting fear in the child perhaps had some effect. But in our day and age, the Rebbe said, only Ava works. The only way to educate and impact another person is through Ava. That's the same words that the Rebbe Mh is telling us, that the Farbrengen talks about in the Maamar. The Rebbe talks in Maamar Lecha Dodi, that the only way to be mashpia on another, you see a person in a briquet and he's screaming and he's not interested and I don't want to. So the only way is to insist on Ava and two maises bekitza for Rebbe. One story is, there's a story that was told Lacharoina that one of the last times that the Rebbe gave the brachas v'chalukas hadolarim l'tzedakah, there was a Litvish Rosh Yeshiva. The story is told by his own son, a Litvish Rosh Yeshiva who came to the Rebbe and he asked the Rebbe, my son is not, he said, my son, I came to the Rebbe and he said, my son is Nebuch, I taught thousands of Talmidim and they all follow Derech HaTorah, but my son is off the way of Torah. What should I do? I gave him so much love. He ended off his question to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe said, give him more love. And the son tells the story that 3 months later he came back to Yiddishkeit. Give him, I worked hard. I gave him so much love. We all know the story. We all have Talmidim and friends and Chabrusas and all sorts of family members. I gave him so much love. What should I do? What's the remedy? What else should I try? The Rebbe says, the answer to you and me, give him more love. Another mice I heard from Rabbi Mh the other day, that early in the Nesias, in Eretz Yisrael, there were the Mapayniks that were very anti-Torah. And there was a Choshev, a Mapaynik, and he was a friend of the Ben Gurion, the Chulu, of the first Mapayniks in Eretz Yisrael. And he was a great Kopmensch. He was a very high intellectual. And he happened to go, Reb Mh could correct this little detail. I think he went into the yeshiva, he heard about Chassidus. So he said, he loved it. He said, I want to hear more of this Chassidus. So they connected him to our great masculine Chassidus, Natayra Chassid, who was Meifitz Mayonis. Rebbe Meir Blazinski is Chaynu Levracha, Gewaldige Gehebene Chassid, and he taught and he lifted a lot of neshamas. Grandfather of the Blazinskis here and went throughout Lubavitch. Al Kapanim, Rebbe Meir Blazinski saw, he learned with him every Shabbos. Yet the Shabbos lends Chassidus. One Shabbos he notices that he's driving home. He says to him, driving on Shabbos? The guy didn't answer. He asked the Rebbe, what should I do? He's driving on Shabbos. The Rebbe said, don't be maskir dover v'chatzi dover b'negeh to shmiras Torah. Continue learning with him without saying one word about anything to do with shmiras Torah. Let chassidus with them, but not another word. Over time, this person came closer and closer to an Afrum Yid. And he later was told, Rebbe Meir Blazinski, he said, I want you to know that you said to me one time about Shabbos. If you said one more word about Shabbos, I wouldn't come back. Anyone that deals at the Nekuda for Rebbe is always lift him up. Give him a Kiruv Chitzoni, because a Kiruv Chitzoni is the Keli to the Kiruv Pnimi, and the Maamar it's even higher than a Kiruv Pnimi brings to Kiruv Pnimi. So Memela, our Derech is known and clear as if you see a matzav, and the matzav is, I gave him Kiruv, I gave him so much love, and it didn't work. What's next? More Kiruv, more love, because that will bring him Oyev Sabriyas Davke. That's the only mile, and through the fact that Oyev Sabriyas, he doesn't love their Ava, he doesn't love their Torah, he loves them. He loves them because Ayid is a chelik elikami mal, and he's the Deibusha knows that he has that mile, even though you don't see it and he doesn't know it yet.